on any level?
What's that?
When we have to defend ourselves against something, it means it's threatening to us. If people act stupid around me all day long, that's not one of my personal triggers. And I really work at non-judgment and compassion and all these other things. At the same time, it doesn't push my buttons because I don't resonate with stupid. So if you call me stupid, I'll laugh because there's nothing in me that feels stupid. This wasn't always the case. I've done a lot of work to overcome some of the messages that I may have received from teachers that didn't like me or whatever.
Right, you're right. Me too, yep.
Following me? So if you have an understanding that this is something that very much feels like survival for him, and he also wants to look big and smart around you. So if he puts someone else down, it's the classic case of he thinks he's going to look better. Talk to me and tell me, after the information that we're talking about today, something that you may be able to say in a conversation that is non-threatening and not going to make him defensive. And that's another thing, Michelle. Down the road, like you said, when the rose-colored glasses come off and you see the person that you're with and you go, oh my goodness, look at that. Why didn't I see that 3 months ago? You got to remember that there's also a lot of soul growth that can happen between two partners that are willing to dive into life together for the long haul. And that's probably the biggest definition of a soulmate that people don't understand. It doesn't mean you have the perfect relationship. It means that anything that anybody else wouldn't stick around and help you with, this person will. It doesn't mean it's easy or fun. We learn through relationships. I've said this on the show before. I was single for about a year, and I thought that not that I could do no wrong. I felt like I had worked through a lot of my issues and that I was a pretty good catch. And because I wasn't in a relationship, it wasn't in my face about some of my issues that I still hadn't healed yet. And now, 4 years with Dean, I've both come a long way.
Yeah.
But we are willing to talk about the things that bother each other, coming from a place of commitment. So that's another thing. I know it's still early in the game with you two, but do you feel like, I mean, when we talked about the Hope Chest gift last week, and we had a good laugh about that. And I Love You came after that, so he will learn to trust you more and more.
I remember something I wanted to tell you. So a couple of nights ago, I talk in my sleep, and
oh boy.
I know.
I love that.
So a couple of nights ago, I was dreaming, and I was sleeping at his house, and I was dreaming about someone was wearing this really cool dress. It was really different and pretty, and so I said, "That's awesome," and it woke him up, and he said, "What's awesome?" And then that woke me up, and I said, "Oh, I was dreaming. I had a dream about a really pretty dress." And he goes, "Well, it better not be white." I was like, "It was black." Which it was black. It was a black dress.
That's good. That's a good comeback.
I know. I thought,
you wish.
It's black, you jerk.
Right.
Like a funeral.
It was red, and I looked hot. Yeah.
But I was like, then in the morning. So in the morning, I remembered it, and I said, and I was reminding him, and he said, he goes, I don't remember. He said, I must have been dreaming too. And then when I said, well, you said it better not be white, he goes, oh, now I remember. So I was pissed off.
Another defense mechanism.
Well, so I was telling my mother, and she said, well, he must be thinking about it because I was dreaming about a dress. Why would he think wedding? I didn't
Thou
think
doth protest too much. I'm telling you. The very things he's fighting against out loud that are so irritating to you are the very things that he fears that he may, cold feet, and he's come a long way. This is not something you can't work through. I just know that since we've been sharing this information today, you have your own way of doing and saying things, Michelle. I know this. And so at some point, the next time he cuts someone down, as long as you're not in reaction to it, and you can actually have a gentle conversation about, oh yeah, it's hard to tolerate when people act, but you can enlighten and teach him at the same time. You can say, I don't believe that people really are stupid. I think they may act that way. I do believe that we're all equals. It could spark an interesting conversation, and he could go into his defense and his learned behavior that he's so unconscious about, and say, well, no, some people are really stupid, and you can kind of challenge him and say, so you're perfectly brilliant and smart all the time, or just something could lead to a discussion where you could end up saying, one of my favorite expressions is, if it worked, I'd do it. So what that means is, I'm just as vulnerable as anybody else to do things that aren't of a higher level consciousness. I've just learned to work through more of my awareness so that I'm aware. I mean, I've told my kids it's easy to be bad. I mean, not to sound like, duality, good or bad, or get into that whole conversation, but it's harder to do the right thing. It's harder to...
Oh, right, yeah.
But when you realize the benefits of your consciousness and the things that you attract into your life by learning our own flaws and weaknesses and facing them and growing from it, that's huge. And here's this big opportunity where you can enlighten and teach him. And again, I keep hearing, if you can do it with a gentle conversation where you can say, I used to think that if I put someone down, it made me look better. And then I realized it actually made me look worse.
Wow, that's so weird.
You call him out on it, but you don't attack him with it. You just show him gently how he's being, and then he can, with an awareness, he might go, oh, ooh, right?
Oh, and the funny thing, is, like, a couple of weeks ago we were playing Scrabble, or anytime we play a game, like, it comes out really, it comes out in him, like I'm the smartest and I'm the. And
defense mechanism, because he doesn't feel smart on some level. If you have to talk so much about how smart you are, it means you don't feel very smart.
Or maybe he wants the recognition because he didn't get it from his father.
Exactly.
Maybe that's what it is.
That too.
Maybe he needs, yeah.
But you can't stroke his ego all day long and say you're so smart, because he won't take it in.
That's what I was doing to him. I started to do that to him, and he knew. He goes, stop. He said, stop doing that.
Well, how about the conversation of, I used to think that when I put other people down, it made me look better, and then I realized it actually made me look worse.
Right.
You could.
I know. So when we were playing the game, I kind of reflected back to him what he was doing to me, and he had this look of such, like, shock and woundedness on his face. I was really surprised.
Because he doesn't realize.
Wow, you can dish it, but you can't take it.
He doesn't realize what he's doing, and he is coming from a wound. Now, listen, there's a book, The Course in Miracles. I know you know this book.
Yeah, I read the book. I read it.
And I've read bits and pieces and enough of it to know that at any given moment, we are coming from a place of love or fear. There's no gray area with this.
Right.
And
exactly.
if he's not being loving, and I'm not being, ushy-gushy, like very, I'm talking about the powerful love that is hard. Like Jesus says, love your enemies, love.
Right.
That kind of love does not put other people down. So it's like a science equation. So when he's not in love, he's coming from fear. And Michelle, I feel like you are both each other's teachers. There will be things he will say to you that you're going to appreciate. And this is going to be one of those moments when you talk to him and you say and you enlighten him in a very non-threatening, this is a theme here with you, right? To have a conversation coming from your heart and saying, I would appreciate, or say when you talk like that about other people, it makes me see you as a smaller person, and I would like not to see that, Eric. I know you are not that. I understand this is learned behavior. I understand that I don't think you're going to necessarily, he's going to understand that he's in fear about becoming the very thing that he's protesting too much about. But maybe he will. You two stick around together long enough, and he will, I think he, like you said, he would be so embarrassed if he knew how much he upset you, and because he thinks he's looking pretty cool.
Right.
And again, he's unconscious about it, so it's a trigger. So when he starts to when he sees someone else acting a way that he considers stupid, it reminds him of how bad he felt when he felt like that. So he has to totally deny it. Say, well, that person's stupid, and I'm so not stupid.
Right.
Because it's painful.
Right.
You can call me stupid all day long. I don't care. I don't have a wound around it. I have other wounds.
Right. Yeah, right.
And so do you. And so this is a wound. So instead of seeing this as something that you can't stand about him, again, I'm going to try to get the name of that book. Because this whole, and I haven't read the book, and I often don't give away recommendations about anything I haven't personally read. But when I read the premise about what this book was about, I thought, this is different from anything I've ever seen. Because it's really unifying for people in a relationship. It's celebrating the flaw of your partner in some kind of way that you don't have to break up over it necessarily.
Right.
I think I'm gonna Google it.
That's easy to say. You don't remember the name of it. Do you remember the
Wabi
author?
Sabi something. Let me go. I know her name. It came out like today, so every single author that's promoting it. Ariel Ford is the author, and I'm gonna do. I don't even know what Wabi Sabi means. It's Wabi Sabi Love. There it is, right on Google. Hold on. Wabi Sabi. I think it's some guru. It's an ancient.
Can you spell it?
Yeah. Here we go. Wabi Sabi Love. WABISABI Love by Ariel Ford. The Ancient Art of... Hold on, I'm going to pull up the description of the book. Here we go. Consciousness expert and best-selling author Ariel Ford announces Wabi Sabi Love, a new book on finding perfect love in imperfect relationships. Here we go. Using real-life stories of couples who applied Wabi Sabi and found their relationships transformed. I'm guessing Wabi Sabi, if you look it up, is some ancient something. Some guru.
Weird.
Right. Okay. I don't know about that, but anyway. Can revolutionize any relationship no matter the circumstances. Navigating financial challenges, raising children, caring for aging parents, coping with seemingly insurmountable betrayal, or just facing mundane frustrations and everyday stressors. By shifting the focus from what's wrong to what's right, Wabi Sabi Love reveals a pathway to true love. And let's see. Relationship expert Ariel Ford gives an ancient concept a modern-day twist to help partners develop and sustain a love that lives vibrantly past the honeymoon phase. Based on the Japanese concepts of finding beauty in imperfection. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's Wabi Sabi. Japanese Wabi Sabi is finding beauty in imperfection.
That's awesome.
That is. Wabi Sabi Love is firmly rooted in the belief that how a person chooses to see things informs the way they appear. The book provides steps for building a relationship that is authentic, fulfilling, and fun. By shifting the focus away from what's wrong to what's right, partners will learn to apply humor, compassion, intimacy, and anger at precisely those moments when retreat feels like the only option. By doing so, Wabi Sabi Love reveals a pathway to love, peace, and harmony truly. I could even see you getting this book and having a conversation with them. It's almost like you could have a game of, oh, what's your flaw? Let's tell each other's
He would
flaws.
love that, I think, too.
He's very open to this. He wants to heal. He just doesn't know
he
how
does
to do
too.
it.
I know. I think so, too. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm like, wow, that was really good timing because I just got that email today.
I think so too, and I do. I think he's open to it, and he likes to. He's a thinker. He likes to have, stimulating conversations.
That's true brilliance, right?